Hello and welcome to the second Pokemon Emerald episode. We're going to go for a Lotad. I think it's on this route. We've got a Poochyena. You know, I don't ever remember actually using a Poochyena in a playthrough. And, you know, Dark type specifically. For some reason, I've never really enjoyed Dark types that much. I think my favourite Dark type would probably be Darkrai from Gen 4, which you cannot get legitimately, so I never really got to use that. I think maybe in the Mystery Dungeon game you can recruit it in one of them, in the Sky, at some point. But that's not in the mainline game. I'm just looking for a Lotad, and then we'll level him up on the first trainer there. I might even start a run. Do we want Fred to be leveling up as quickly as he is? Nah. So one thing that you could do is catch a bunch of Zigzagoons early on here for pick up the ability, and then they can carry stuff throughout the run. I think that's a strategy that is used in you know, the randomizers, Pokemon Emerald randomizers, if you've ever seen those. Those are quite fun to watch if you haven't seen those. Completely kind of messes up the game. Randomizes all the Pokemon in the routes and the items that are there, and I think what Pokemon, just everything gets randomized. So at some point here, I should probably now just forget about the Wurmple. And let's find this Lotad. I don't think there's any specific abilities on a Lotad that make it better. If I'm remembering right, you got one that heals it when it's raining, and the other one increases its speed when it's raining. So I'm not sure exactly, neither of those are going to make an impact on this playthrough, most likely. Now, I'm 90% sure that Lotad exists in this grass. And we will keep searching until we get it. He's the cornerstone of the team, isn't he? He rounds us out. We've got fire, and he gives us grass and water. He's I think it's one of the perfect starts in a Pokemon playthrough. There he is, the big man himself. Oh, well, he can be a man. The big girl himself. For a Lotad, I haven't thought of a name. Maybe, but I have had commenters, fans of the channel comment asking for me to name the Pokemon after them, so I could oblige. We'll do it with Lotad. I've got one in mind that's popped into my head because I never pronounce the name right when they come into stream. But I'll leave you in suspense until we catch it here. I'm surprised I haven't caught it already. Does it die if I hit it now with a scratch? Oh no, it doesn't. Whoa, look at the defense on that guy. I wonder if he's got some defensive IVs and a defensive nature or something. I guess IVs wouldn't actually make an impact at this point, but the nature would. Unless my Torchic's really weak. Maybe I've got a bad nature for attack. But here we go, the Waterweed Pokemon, aka Y U M M Y, which is not pronounced yummy, it's pronounced Yumi. And that is the Lotad for this entire run. I call it a run. That's the Isaac lingo creeping in. Already into the Pokemon series. I've recorded too much Isaac. I'm gonna start going on about secret rooms in Pokemon Emerald now. I could put the rolls away, but let's put Yummy up front then. We'll do a little bit of switch training on our way through. I don't think you train now in the wild grass. I do think you fight trainers and you get as far as you can until you're struggling, and then you train with the patch of grass that's got the highest level Pokemon. You probably don't take down the Poochyena. Fred, on the other hand. Sorry, Yumi. Into the bag you go. Maybe that's why you shouldn't name Pokemon after people who watch the channel. Critical hit without even using the focus energy. So he should go down straight away now. And that's probably a Lotad level up. No. There is an XP share in this game, I think. But I've got no idea where. It does exist. Where is it? Is it in Rustboro? We need Fred to learn Peck, I think, to get these bug types out of the way. I mean, he doesn't have Ember yet, and he doesn't have Peck. And I can't remember which one's first. Both of those means all the bug types coming up. We want it for the forest, basically. Even though the forest isn't that long. Lots of tapping in this game on the A button. So I will be switching out on these early ones. I do need this guy to get up to speed. Especially... Can he take him out? Do I do it? Let's do it. Let's give him all of the experience here. I can use a potion. If I was gonna do it, I should have considered using Growl. I'm a bit scared of a critical hit on their part, so let's use a potion. And then that should be a free win for Lotad. He doesn't start with a great moveset. He doesn't have any same type attack bonus, otherwise known as Stab. And Stab is something I don't think I ever really used when I first played Emerald. If you know what that is. If you use a fire move on a fire type, you get a attack bonus, a percentage increase to the power of the attack. Wah, 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 wah. That's a really iconic line there. Early on. It's one everyone sees. We'll get Yumi up to level... Maybe not in this one. We'll switch. I don't want to get too down into the weeds with like being optimal with the experience, because they will just keep rising. There's certain fights where like it does make sense. Like in... I mean, a lot of trainer fights you do want to use to train up the lower leveled Pokemons. Pokemon? It says Pokemons. It's such a bad way to refer to multiple Pokemon. Definitely don't want to keep him out against the Swellow. Now there will be ones that do counter Lotad with the typing, and they'll have moves that... Like, fire doesn't work against Lotad, and grass doesn't work against Lotad twice. But lightning does. Electric. Stuff to think about with the Lotad. He doesn't always get to beat Pokemon with water or grass. Just because of the counters that they've got. But I don't have the type chart in front of me, so I can't think of it right now. I do pick up the berries. I never plant them. the one game I played probably the most in a specific run was probably on Omega Ruby, and I did do like absolutely everything in that game on the DS. But in most Pokemon runs, I always just tended to get to the Elite, like do the Elite Four, maybe a tiny bit of the post game. I never really went. Yeah, it's normal type, of course. Ghost types don't affect normals. Could get a bit tricky here. I might have to use another potion. Nah, we're alright. We're alright, he's gonna level up. He'll probably learn Ember as well. Yeah, nice, nice, nice. And suddenly we get a lot more power. I wonder if the Lotad could take out the Shroomish. Now we will have to do a lot of training before Roxanne actually. Because Roxanne, she's got a very strong team. That normally, if you have a Torchic, you need the evolution to Combusken to get the fighting type move, which is strong against her rock types. So that is likely going to be a large portion of this early game, is getting the Torchic evolved. I don't know if there's any more Pokemon before Roxanne that I want to catch. Maybe I do want a fighting type though. Oh, Absorb's a really good one. There's Stab as well. Yeah, so I'm very happy with this. I want a flying type, maybe a Tailo actually. That is an option. Oh, the Wally section's coming up too. It's a bit of a long section that you gotta watch him catch his Rolts that you end up fighting later in the game. He's like a pseudo rival, isn't he, Wally? Because he does... You fight him, what, twice? Maybe more? But right now I can think of Morville, outside the Morville gym, and then in Victory Road. But maybe there's another time as well. Okay, I need to swap the order of these moves now, just so Ember is more easily accessed. And how do we do that? I don't want to switch him, I just want to go to the summary. Yeah, that's good. I don't know if you can switch between the Pokemon on the Game Boy. This is like, we're very old school right now. It's a very old game. You can do these things. It's easier on the Gen 4, I think, to switch between the Pokemon, that kind of stuff. Because the DS had the left and right trigger buttons. But here we go. We arrive into the second town, which is... The name is gone from my head. I know it's where the dad is, who we're about to meet. Yeah, we know all of this. If it isn't me, and I got here all by myself. Oh, the dog just barked, so I'll stitch that together. You won't hear the bark, but if the music skips, that's why. We get a Zigzagoon for Wally. And he's going to show me how to catch Pokemon, the Rolts. I do already know how to catch, we've already got the Lotad and the Rolts. I don't think I'll use the Rolts. I think it's alright. It gets turns into Curlier, evolves into Curlier and then Gardevoir. So what Pokemon do I actually want? I do like to have a fighting type. I've got a fighting type. Yeah, of course, Blaziken. So yeah, no Hariyama for me. I do like a Hariyama. I tend not to like the Geodude. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's time for a Crobat. Maybe I'll go for a Zubat in the cave. In the town on the bottom left, which I also have forgot the name of. I know a few names of the towns. You got the Morville, Verdant Turf, Rustboro, Falabor, I think. But some of them are escaping me right now. Okay. Any more advice, Dad? Yeah, head for the Rustboro. That's exactly where we're going. After I become stronger. Yeah, you are right. You would wipe the floor with me right now. And I will just check these houses just in case. Hey, they're talking about me. Sometimes they have items. I don't remember any in this one. But it's like, it's a ritual, isn't it? When you play Pokemon games, to just go and chat to everybody. This guy roamed the mountains. They want to adventure. Maybe even get a little homesick. Oh, okay. First we check what kind of gym it is. That's what we do. I think Norman is normal type. Is that why they called him Norman? Have I just put that together like 20 years later? Petalburg is the name of the town. And then this is where Wally lives. Frail and sickly. Verdant Turf. I like Verdant Turf. The Spa town, I think. Oh yeah, and then this guy. Scott, is it? He's roaming the land in search of talented trainers. I'm here. We're talented. We're sophisticated. So the flying type that I want is gonna be the Crobat later. So I don't think there's anything I want here. Although I don't remember everything that exists on this route. Maybe I should start checking in advance what Pokemon actually exist on the upcoming routes before I record the episodes. And then I can decide if there's any that I want to take. But since we've got flying type covered, poisons covered, maybe an electric type, but that comes way later. Once we've got through the next, like, 3 towns actually. Ah, that's a lot of experience. Nice one, Yumi. There's Pico and Mr. Briny in there. And here we go. We get some water Pokemon for Lotad to take out. Oh, and it's a Magikarp. One of my favourite. So, way back in the day, I used to watch Maryland. He was very, very good, very knowledgeable, and his website was really useful, but probably still is. I haven't checked it in a while. And his surprise at the 6 Magikarps in Pokemon Diamond, that was so hilarious to me back in the day. And there always is a trainer in these games. There's always a trainer with 6 Magikarp. They're lurking, you never expect them. And you just start to live in fear of talking to every fisherman, because you never know which is the one that's gonna come out with 6 Magikarps. Absolute monsters. But those are the ones, they're setting the seeds, aren't they? In the Pokemon world, those are the ones in about 10 years that'll come after you with 6 Gyarados. They're quite strong, Gyarados, as well, sometimes. You kind of really need an electric type to take them out, and that is why I think I will take an electric later. Electric type. I'll probably use Fred here. I think Lotad's going to do quite well in Roxanne's gym. At least for the Geodude, but then we do need Fred's to be able to take out the Nose Pass, I believe. There's something fishy in that gym that I need to prepare for, but I don't exactly remember what. But I think everything will be fine if we just get them both to around level 16. But let's head into the forest. And since there's quite a few trainers afterwards, I should probably heal before I go in. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. The music is so iconic in this game. The battle music. Kind of ingrained in your head, but it's so good. Like, just everything about this game is so satisfying. That noise there, the level up noise, the victory noise, the root, like... They knew what they were doing when they were making this. And I guess they were building off of like 2 generations before that, so it does make sense. I do miss the 2D era of Pokemon games. I know I haven't played the 3D era yet, and it'll happen eventually. But this just, the 2D era, the top down, I don't know, there's just something about it that appeals to me. I think it's any game that tries to go for realism. It can never get quite real enough, can it? So sometimes you end up disappointed when you go back to them because they went for realism, and then when you look back, they've kind of been outpaced. Whereas the top-down era and the sprites here, you're not looking for realism. It's an art style. It's pleasant to look at. Might be time to put Fred up front when we're going through this forest. And then I know there's some fish coming afterwards. Yeah. I think we'll do it that way. Plenty of PP on Ember. That will be an issue potentially. Sometimes you can go long stretches without using the Pokemon Centers. But it all depends on how much PP you've got, and elixirs are quite rare. You kind of want to save them for gym fights and the Elite Four, that kind of thing. So I definitely prefer going back to a Pokemon Center to heal rather than using elixirs and max elixirs. I don't even know if they exist to buy. Are they just from ground loot? I need to get better at the movement. It's not quite smooth yet. I keep hitting grass patches I don't mean to hit. And at some point I will need to do some precise movement in a tower that we shall not talk about yet, because it's a long way away. Okay, there. I do know that there is an item there. There are more items like that. Much harder to find in this game compared to all future generations. That's a decent Pokemon. I think it has a lot of experience as well, so I will take it out for the experience. Gives lots. 46. It's a decent chunk. Yeah, no item well, if there is an item finder. It doesn't actually tell you like a direction or anything, whereas in Gen 4 you can use the item finder, find everything you want to find. But let's end this episode here, and in the next episode we'll get to Rustboro. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.